Welcome to Friends of Havana. So we're doing a review this afternoon of a retro cigar. Bit of age on this one, Ken. What is it?
This is the one of the very first limited editions that they ever released, the 2000s. This is the Partagas Pyramid.
2000 Partagas Piramid. It's actually quite a legendary cigar.
And it's from, the code is DIC00, Dicko.
I don't think it means Dicko. I've got a gut feel it means
Yo habla español.
perfectamente. But somehow I don't think it means Dicko.
Poco. Tu mas hermosa chica todo el mundo. That's all you need. Smithy, get the cutting scissors right now. I hate to bring these out because Rob never turns up with anything decent.
You purchased these in Havana?
I got these in Havana, box in Havana on our first trip back in
2003, yeah.
And I'm pretty certain they cost me, I think it was about 135 US for the box. Because in those days, I reckon that those very early limited editions, when they came out, they didn't charge, I mean, the prices were probably under a lot of the standard prices for just the normal cigars.
I remember paying Hoy the Monterey Pyramids from 2003, if I remember correctly, for $130 a box.
Be something similar. This could have been even less. At that stage, they didn't know how it was all going to go. And they priced them.
They learn quickly.
Didn't they? What? Whoa. Bend over and take this.
We're talking about cigars and Havana, so we're not talking about anything else. So the wrapper's always been magnificent on these. It's just been a beautiful wrapper.
Yep.
What's the aroma called? Muted?
It is. It's a subtle sort of almost old leather handbag type thing.
So let us get into it a couple of.
Well, if his form's usual, we'll be back to you immediately because we'll forget to turn it off.
And what are we having now with this cigar?
Now we're having the 2004 Tyrrell's 4-acre Shiraz. Now this is a tiny little production thing.
Ken, we're away. Initial thoughts? You've got into the first 10 mil?
I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. But I've loved all these. I was saying before, I think this is the second box because I've knocked one of them off and now I'm into the second box.
Why do you love it?
It's moved from that initial lovely early flavours into something much more complex, much more secondary, much more interesting. It's a very sort of, it's that mellow, all the edges have been knocked off, it's just a lovely flavours roll along.
If I can expand upon this, because I think it's important. 5 years ago, when it was first released, what was its characteristics then?
It was a pretty rich cigar from memory then, and I'm going back, going back nearly a decade. It had a bit of that dried fruit character from memory. There was certainly some early leather chocolate sort of stuff.
There's no chocolate in this now.
No, it's much more. All that sort of has come together in a much more subtle, complex cigar. And you talked about in a previous cigar how you were, or it might have been off air, how it was hard to pick anything particular out of it, which I think can be a very good thing. I mean, I think. Rather than having sort of knees and legs and elbows and sticking out, when it's just absolutely all together as a one entity. And this to me is one of these cigars. Well, it's a decade old and it doesn't show any sign of falling over to me.
Beautiful cigar.
It's a lovely cigar.
I mean, without defining characters or flavours too much, but it reminds me of hot cross buns.
There's a little bit of that toasty, toasty thing.
Easter hot cross buns. It is straight on medium, just slightly under medium.
Oh, it's in the early days they were certainly well above what they are now. I would say this is well under medium.
Yeah. Beautiful. Delicate.
Yeah.
Finesse. Class.
I love the wine,
but it doesn't go with this. So we're going to flick the wine.
See them.
You're going to bring out some rum.
Bring out some rum, but we'll also drink this because it's lovely wine.
Yeah. Can we change the CD?
You want something a different Springsteen?
Get back to you shortly. First third, Ken?
Only downside that I find to these is that they're so subtle, so sort of refined in that you almost forget you're smoking them. You're yakking away, etc. And whereas if you just sat here with nothing else and concentrated on the cigar, you'd be going, what a wow factor this cigar has.
We're now matching it with Appleton 21.
We've moved on to Appleton 21.
Rum, and which is, I'm finding it magnificent. See, I preferred the Partagas LEs, Pyramids, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, to this now. Because, and this is something I think some of you guys find out, and some of you guys absolutely love aged cigars for the subtlety and the finesse.
Yeah, there's a complete difference.
But I miss the chocolate. I miss the intensity. I miss those aspects there.
Don't forget, it is from Dicko or whatever it is.
December 2000.
Yeah. So you're going way back.
Yeah.
And yeah, look, I had a box that we got all of that from and loved it.
Yeah.
Now I've got a completely different box of cigars.
Possibly, yeah.
And I'm loving them both.
Yeah, but I do find that to be a characteristic of aging, is that finesse becomes part of the enjoyment mix, and subtlety becomes part of that enjoyment mix. And I don't care. And see, when it comes to, say, Hoy de Montre, Le Hoy de Dieu, which is, you can pick up a 10-year-old example or 15-year-old example of the Dieus, and you've got that still got that beautiful vanilla bean in there. I still love the accentuating aspects of that flavour profile.
But this, I suspect, well, those are more designed, they're okay when they're young, but what is it, Upman 46 or something? I mean, no point in touching those for your first few years, I always reckon. They just turn into something.
I love the mongrel. I love the mongrel of Grade 46.
But this is you and wine as well.
Exactly right. I've got a different taste set.
You love that sort of... I love that blockbuster, rich, alcoholic style. Pinot is not Pinot unless it tastes like Shiraz.
And in food, I love peasant food, guys. I love coq au vin. I love paella. I love stuff which has an intensity of flavour to it. I get lost on foam. I get lost on the nouveau type
this is not
flavours.
That,
no, it's not. It's a beautiful cigar. Don't get me wrong. It's a beautiful cigar. But I'm just saying that I've been blessed guys, to have had, if I haven't had 70 of these over the years, I wouldn't have had one. And it's not just this box, Ken. It's just the way they're progressing.
Exactly typical of everyone I've had.
Yeah, it's the way they're progressing.
What you talked about early was there, and what you're talking about now is there now.
That's why I think it's such an important reason that you need to taste your boxes on a consistent basis, one every 6 months, every year.
But you also have to work out your palate.
Yeah, exactly right. And once it reaches a 94, 95 profile, don't goddamn put them aside so they can reach a 97, 98. Because you know what? The next time you go back, they go back to a 91 or a 90 or an 89 because they've gone past your own personal sweet spot in flavour. And we're all different the way we're made up.
You can enjoy different
aspects of it there, but you may enjoy other aspects of it more.
See, I mean, these are never going to go back to those.
No, these will never intensify.
No.
In flavour. And we're lighting these magnificent cigars with a Bic. And I think that is what cigars are all about. It's not pretentious.
What, they taste better if you light them with an expensive lighter?
No, of course not. Of course not.
Well, then,
I love it. I love the fact that we're using
fire.
Bics.
It's seriously fire. I mean, if you can rub two sticks together and get it going, what does that matter?
And next week, that could be the case. We'll be back to you shortly.
What's that got to do with anything? It's fire. It has one purpose. It doesn't get any hotter if it comes from a U-Butte $100 lighter.
Oh, absolutely, I'm with you.
It's like the ashtrays. It doesn't matter. They're there for a purpose. Just because they're blue and fancy and you want to sell them for $2 grand.
I can tell you, this place there's no shortage of two sticks to rub together. It's built up in body.
Marginally, but not a great deal. Marginally. But you talk about the evolution in cigars. This is not showing a lot of evolution to me because it showed exactly what it was at the start, and it's just kept with that lovely, beautiful...
so I'm getting some chocolate now.
You're getting some chocolate?
Yeah. Mine's burning a lot better than yours.
Yeah, this has got a bit of a wonky burn.
Now we're into that second, third period, well into the second, third. It's reminding me back of that, what it was 5 years ago.
You can see what it was.
Yeah.
It's not what it was. No. It's something completely different. And it's just a case of whether you prefer one or the other. Or
you always appreciate cigar for what it is on the day. But this is what a great cigar does. It actually allows you to, I don't know, just to think deeply. And you know, I love nothing more than the cigar when I actually have to write a proposal to the government yet again, or to this or to that, or do a plan, to have a cigar and a decent glass of something. And a great cigar always, I mean, it just clarifies, crystallises your thoughts.
Yeah.
Last third, gentlemen, and look, we've had a couple of wines, a couple of rums, we've had half a bottle of rum here. But the Partagas Piramid, mate,
well, I finished mine 30 minutes ago.
93?
I was thinking 94.
93? 94?
A bit of up. It remained that sort of subtle...
we're getting a bit more depth to it now. but maybe right.
Look, it's not the greatest of all cigars because it could
No.
have a bit more to it. For anyone who loves that sort of aged, beautifully full of finesse, full of a mellow, lovely, thoughtful, complex cigar, superb.
Mate, any day you have a 93, 94 cigar on a Monday afternoon here in
It's today
Vegas.
Monday,
It's only Monday.
is it? I wouldn't know.
You can't go wrong. Fantastic.
The Appleton 21.
Beautiful. Goes brilliant with a cigar. Until next week. Look forward to it. Hasta luego. In fact, no wonder the government hates us. We're back to you shortly.
There wasn't going to be any plain packaging for cigars until I met him. It would bugger you.
And you can understand why Einstein loves cigars. Not that I put myself in the same category as Einstein. Einstein,
Really?
Freud.
Really?
No, I just want to
You
clarify
sure?
that. No, I just want to clarify it. But just, you can understand why a cigar was always part
Because
of their
every time I
lives.
turn up at Cigars R, I'm looking for where they're splitting the atom.
We'll be back into the last third.
With Einstein. Einstein, seriously? Because, yeah, I mean, Rob Ayala, Einstein. Toss a coin.